Okay, picture this. A time of just profound scarcity. We're talking about a famine so bad that people are living on these things called alms tokens.
Right, not even money, just tokens for survival.
Exactly. It's like the bare minimum to get by, maybe a single meal's worth. And in this really desperate situation, a respected spiritual leader faces this challenge, one specifically designed to ruin his reputation in public.
A high-stakes scenario.
And that brings us straight to our main question for this deep dive. What really makes families thrive, or what causes them to fall apart? Is it the obvious stuff we blame, or are there maybe deeper things going on, especially when people start pointing fingers?
Well, that's what we're digging into. We're looking at an old Pali passage. It's essentially a historical account of this exact confrontation, and the answer it gives is pretty surprising and still feels relevant today. It touches on wealth, poverty, collapse, the whole cycle.
So our plan today is to really unpack this whole exchange. We want to look at the rivals' clever strategy, the wisdom of the leader who is challenged, and ultimately get to this timeless list of what actually causes families to fail. It might make you rethink some common ideas, actually.
Yeah, it's quite revealing.
Let's dive in then. So the story starts in Nigaṇṭha, and the sources, they tell us it's gripped by this two-meal famine.
A two-meal famine, just imagine that level of desperation.
Right. People are using those alms tokens we mentioned, just hanging on by a thread. It's a full-blown economic crisis. Hardship everywhere.
Precisely. And in this difficult setting, you have these two major spiritual figures. You've got the Blessed One, the ascetic Gautama, who's traveling with a large group of monks.
Staying near Nigaṇṭha in a mango grove.
That's right, the Pavarika's mango grove. And then you have his main rival, the Nigaṇṭha Nāṭaputta, also in Nigaṇṭha, also with a big following.
So the stage is set, really. Two big figures, tough times. Conflict seems almost inevitable.
It does. The conditions are ripe for it.
And this rival, Nigaṇṭha Nāṭaputta, he sees the famine, sees Gautama and his monks, and thinks, aha, opportunity.
Exactly. He sees a vulnerability.
So he calls over one of his followers, a lay follower named Asibandhakaputta, and gives him very specific instructions. Go and refute Gautama's doctrine.
And even adds a little incentive, doesn't he? Promises him a great reputation if he pulls it off.
Yeah, it's clearly a calculated move, not just a philosophical debate. It feels political.
Oh, absolutely. And the strategy Nāṭaputta comes up with is really quite clever. He tells Gamen to use what he calls a two-horned question.
A two-horned question. Okay, what does that involve?
Well, the first horn, is designed to be something Gautama has to agree with. Gamen should ask him politely if he praises sympathy for families, their protection, their welfare.
Right, who wouldn't say yes to that? Seems obvious.
Exactly, that's the setup. But immediately after the yes, Gamen is told to hit him with the second horn.
Okay, here comes the trap.
Right, the question is essentially, well then, venerable sir, if you care so much about families, why are you wandering around with this huge group of monks during a famine? Aren't you basically causing families to starve? Aren't you acting for their ruin, their harm?
I see. It connects the positive statement directly to a negative accusation based on their current circumstances. It's sharp.
Very sharp. It implies hypocrisy. It uses the very real suffering of the famine against him. The genius, or maybe the cunning, is making it seem like his very presence, his community's need for alms, is the cause of the suffering.
And Nāṭaputta was apparently really sure this would work. He told Gamen that Gautama would be trapped. What was the phrase?
He will not be able to spit it out or swallow it.
Wow, that's confidence. He really thought he'd backed him into an impossible corner, ready for a public humiliation.
He did. The tension is palpable in the text. You can feel Nāṭaputta's certainty.
Okay, so Gamajis goes. He approaches the Blessed One, pays his respects, the formalities, and then poses the question, exactly as instructed. First part, do you praise sympathy for families, their protection, welfare?
And the Blessed One, totally calm, just responds, yes, Game, that the Tathagata indeed in many ways praises sympathy for families, their protection, and their welfare. Straightforward affirmation.
Okay, so far so good. Now for the second horn, the accusation about causing ruin during the famine.
And this is where the response is brilliant. Instead of getting defensive or trying to explain away the monk's needs, he offers this incredibly powerful counterpoint. He says basically, Game, I've been around for a long, long time, 91 world cycles, or kappas.
91 kappas, that's an immense time frame.
Almost unimaginable. And he continues, in all that time I recollect, I don't recall even one single family ever being ruined just by giving alms to monks.
Wow, So he just completely dismantles the core assumption of the attack. He's saying, that's not actually what ruins families. My memory spanning eons tells me so.
Precisely. He refutes the premise directly, drawing on this vast, almost mythic timescale. It's a stunning rebuttal.
So the trap is sprung, but he just steps over it. But he doesn't just leave it there, does he? He uses this moment.
No, he pivots. He uses the accusation as a teaching opportunity. He shifts from what doesn't cause ruin to discussing what actually does, and importantly, what leads to prosperity.
Right. He brings up positive factors first. What were they again?
He identifies 3 foundations for family wealth: giving, dana, truthfulness, saka, and spiritual practice, samanya. These aren't just nice ideas. They're presented as the active building blocks for a family's well-being.
Giving, truthfulness, spiritual practice. Okay. But then he gets into the reasons for ruin.
Yes, and this is really the heart of the teaching for us, I think. He lays out 8 causes, 8 conditions for the ruin of families. Very clear, very specific.
Let's go through them. What's the first one?
First, through kings. This points towards, state actions, oppressive taxes, maybe unfair confiscations, political instability affecting livelihoods. It's about external power structures crushing families.
Okay, makes sense. Power from above. What's next?
Second, through thieves. Much more direct. Simple crime, external forces taking what you have.
Right, basic vulnerability. Number 3.
Third is through fire, and the fourth is linked through flood.
Natural disasters, basically. Things beyond your control. Accidents.
Exactly. Sudden, devastating events that can wipe out everything, regardless of how well you managed things before.
Okay, what's the 5th cause?
5th is through loss of stored goods. Now, this sounds simple, like grain spoiling, but it implies more, right? It could be mismanagement of resources, assets decaying, maybe not adapting investments, basically letting what you have waste away.
So poor management or neglect of what you possess. Got it. Number 6.
6th is through poor agricultural practices.
Yeah.
In that society, farming was key. So incompetence, laziness, not understanding how to cultivate properly, that led directly to ruin.
And today, we could maybe translate that to, like, bad business practices, not adapting to the market.
I think that's a fair analogy, yes. Failing to tend to the source of your prosperity, whatever that might be, incompetence in your core activities.
Okay, number 7 sounds like it was quite pointed.
Ah, yes, the 7th one. It's very vivid. It says, ruin comes through being born in that family, a wastrel who squanders, scatters, and destroys the wealth.
Oof, that's direct. So internal problems, someone within the family just throwing it all away.
Exactly. Irresponsible behavior, maybe addiction, reckless spending, passed down or just emerging in one generation. It's self-sabotage from within the family unit itself. A really powerful point about internal accountability.
It really is. And the last one, number 8.
Lastly, number 8 is through impermanence, Enika. The fundamental nature of reality that everything changes, decays, nothing lasts forever.
So a more philosophical point, but still very real. Even well-managed wealth eventually dissipates or transforms. It's the ultimate, unavoidable cause of decline.
Right. It acknowledges the background reality against which all these other factors play out.
That list is incredible. It covers external forces, natural events, mismanagement, internal behavior, and even the nature of existence itself.
It's remarkably comprehensive.
But what really stands out is the contrast. The initial accusation was so specific, you're causing ruin by accepting alms. And his answer is this huge systemic view of ruin where almsgiving doesn't even feature. Why that civic approach? Why not just say, no, you're wrong about the alms?
Well, I think it was crucial to elevate the conversation. Just saying no might have continued the argument on Nāṭaputta's terms. By offering this broader framework, he wasn't just deflecting, he was reframing the entire issue. He was basically saying, you're looking in the wrong place. You're focusing on a superficial, politically motivated point, while the real reasons families struggle or fail are these much bigger, more complex factors.
So it shifts the focus from blame to understanding.
Exactly, from petty accusation to genuine insight into how prosperity and ruin actually work in the world. He turns an attack into a profound teaching moment.
It really highlights where true vulnerability lies, doesn't it? Not in acts of generosity, but in these big external pressures or mismanagement, or like you said, that internal decay, that wastrel point still stands out. Is it meant to be like the worst cause, do you think?
It's hard to rank them, perhaps, but it's certainly the one that feels most preventable. Or most tragic, maybe. Kings, floods, thieves, those are largely external forces. Impermanence is universal. But the wastrel, That's about choices made within the family. It's about responsibility, legacy, behavior.
Yeah, it puts the onus squarely on human action and choices within the unit itself. Makes you think about generational responsibility.
It really does. And the Blessed One added a serious warning, too, about making false claims.
Right, what was that warning?
He stated quite strongly that if someone keeps pushing that false accusation saying, the Blessed One is acting for the destruction of families, and doesn't abandon that way of thinking, speaking, or viewing things, well, the consequence is dire. They'll be cast into hell.
Wow, that's strong language. So spreading that kind of falsehood, misattributing cause and effect like that, is seen as incredibly serious.
Extremely serious. It underscores the ethical weight of truthfulness and the danger of misleading people about the real roots of problems, especially when it stems from malice or political maneuvering.
And how did Gamais, the guy sent to deliver the attack, react to all this?
He was completely won over. The text says he immediately recognized the wisdom. He exclaimed, excellent venerable sir, like a light bulb went on.
He saw through the original plan.
Absolutely. He saw the depth of the response compared to the shallowness of the accusation he'd been sent to make. And right then and there, he declared himself a lay follower for life.
So the plan backfired spectacularly. Instead of public shame, it led to a conversion based on recognizing the truth.
A complete reversal. The truth and clarity of the teaching prevailed over the cunning strategy.
So when we step back from this story, what's the big takeaway? What should we be thinking about?
I think the core lesson is about discernment, about looking past the easy answers or the convenient scapegoats. This passage really pushes us to identify the actual forces at play, both the big external ones and the sometimes uncomfortable internal ones that determine whether things flourish or fall apart.
Yeah, it's a powerful reminder that the problem often isn't what we're initially told it is, or what seems obvious on the surface. The Blessed One just cut through all that noise, didn't he? He ignored the political jab and went straight to the deeper truths.
He did. He elevated the discourse entirely.
So maybe the thought to leave everyone with is this. Think about your own life, or what you see happening in the world. What are the modern versions of these two-horned questions? Where are we perhaps blaming the wrong things, maybe focusing on superficial issues while ignoring the deeper systemic causes of success or failure?
Are we mistaking symptoms for the disease?
Exactly. What are those real underlying factors, maybe the ones that are harder to talk about or confront, that are actually shaping things? This ancient story, I think, really encourages us to look for those authentic causes. Because finding them, well, that's where real understanding and maybe even solutions can begin.